Thanks a lot for coming in.
Good morning, happy to be here.
Something about this community appeals to you?
This is a wonderful place to live.
For Kelowna Now, this is Camp Mulgat.
And we're joined by John Stepovy of Pacific Western Transportation, the parent company of eBus that we're now getting used to operating out of Kelowna. You also have an interest in these automated buses. I've seen a little bit of what they're looking like in Montreal, and I think that your company has been testing these automated driverless buses in Calgary. I think some people are already scared about the idea of getting on a bus with no driver. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so her name's Ella. There's a website called ridewithella.ca, lots of information. So we did a month-long deployment in Calgary, and it connected the Calgary Zoo to their science center. Traveled about 1 kilometer in length, that route, so that was great. We did that for a month, and now the shuttle is in Edmonton for October and November. 5 different deployment sites, and it's been met with open arms, and it's been a very interesting opportunity for us for sure.
So there is no driver's seat in these things. They're sort of rectangular shaped little bus.
So there's no steering wheel, no gas or brake pedal.
Are people reluctant to get on that at first?
I think some surely are, right? And I think for us it was important to make Ella very welcoming. So again, naming the vehicle Ella, the nice bright gray and pink sort of colors of Ella. Again, just inviting, welcoming. We do have a trained operator on board who's able to take over in an emergency situation, things like that. But more importantly, that person's the conduit between the public and the technology, the shuttle itself. So the person's a host, the greeter, lots of questions. People want to see everything. They want to understand what all the buttons are in there, and so it's a person on board, but the shuttle runs itself. You press to close the doors. As soon as the doors close, it knows where it's going.
So I take it in Calgary, this is all happening kind of in a closed area where there's no other traffic around. This is sort of easing people into the idea at first, right? And it's a pilot project, I guess you'd still call it.
Yeah. These are all still in sort of that test mode, let's call it, right? So it's really, for us, it's about understanding, what the interaction's like between the public and the technology, how open they are to it, and again, some people certainly have reluctancy towards it because there's no gas pedal and there's no steering wheel.
Yes.
But for the most part, it's been received with open arms, and it's worked well.
So where does it go from here? What are the next steps towards us eventually seeing automated buses just driving in the traffic with the rest of us?
Yeah, so we still think that'll take some time. I think right now these sort of pilots will help shape the future of that. So it'll help shape how cities are designed, how cities are built, how new developments are designed and built. Car ownership is declining. The younger generation, it's taking them longer and longer to make that decision to get a driver's license even. So it's not, when you're 16 or 17, you get a driver's license right away. First thing you do. Now we see folks, that number's climbing to either later in age or not even getting a driver's license. So it'll still take some time to get there, and there's still that regulatory component. I mean, the provinces, for instance, they have a responsibility to safety on the roads. So we're trying to work with the provinces to kind of help them with that process. So these pilots, these deployments, hopefully in the long term will help shape what the regulation's going to look like, help shape what the cities are going to look like, help with land use planning and community development, all those aspects.
So as we start to go through, testing these things for safety and also getting the public used to them, eventually we could see a scenario where we have these automated buses just moving with traffic. So let's just pretend we're in that new future. It creates some amazing questions, right? Because you need to program these buses to deal with different eventualities, right? Disastrous eventualities. Like the scenario you described prior to this. where a vehicle's now coming at you head on and you're moving at speed, whatever that speed is. Now the vehicle has to decide, or it has to be programmed to just brace itself for the head-on impact or veer onto a sidewalk where it knows there are pedestrians. So somehow it has to be programmed. These sort of ethical questions have to be programmed right into it.
Yeah, I mean, we're not the developers of the technology, and we're operators and facilitators of the technology. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, at some point, artificial intelligence will be at that point where vehicles can make some of those decisions on their own through the intelligence. But yeah, I mean, there is an element of programming, and I think these are some of the elements that all levels of government, all manufacturers, whether on the technology side or on the actual vehicle side, these are all questions that everyone's pondering, and I think that's why there's such a systematic and sort of safe approach to kind of open legislation on these vehicles. I think safety is everyone's priority. I think vehicle safety, people safety, just the general safety of the public is key. But I think really what needs to be happening is there needs to be elements in place where we can, systematically push this technology, because the technology is capable. The shuttle Ella, she can drive down the road. She can drive on Harvey. She can drive.
You could have that vehicle drive right through to wherever you wanted in Kelowna tomorrow, if it was if it was allowed.
Absolutely, the vehicle.
And it would do it safely, in your view, as safe as if I drove it.
The vehicle can do it. Some of what needs to happen though is that public education. Is how do you in your vehicle interact with an autonomous vehicle as a human? So I think kind of that human nature, you establish a little eye contact, whether you're a pedestrian.
But there's no eye
crossing
contact
or
with one of
vehicle.
those, right?
Correct.
So you're saying that the most unsafe thing about the non-human vehicle are the non-humans that they would come into contact with, right? Sorry,
Well,
are the humans that they would come into contact
Yeah,
with?
I mean that's it. I mean, we can, if you have a small business park, we can put the shuttle in tomorrow and it'll do its job. You can put a fleet of these shuttles into Kelowna. Kelowna tomorrow chose to be fully autonomous. We're not going to have people behind steering wheels. It can happen, and it can be done safely. It's all these other elements that get added.
Right.
That again, it's going to take time to work through. All these deployments are helping shape what that future is going to look like, and it's a lot of learning right now.
It must be an exciting time as you guys envision a future that's, so much change.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, technology is really driving the future in general, but certainly transportation. I mean, at some point, you're gonna be pushed and prodded by Alexa at home, reminding you that you maybe need to fly to that business meeting that you have in Toronto. It knows because it's in your calendar, and she's reminding you that you need to book a flight. And while you're booking that flight, how are you going to get to the airport? Maybe we should pre-book a vehicle to come pick you up, and that vehicle might be an autonomous shuttle that picks you up. The technology with analytics knows that particular day, that particular time, there's only a 0.1% chance of flight cancellations or delays. So it knows that you really only need to get to the airport a few minutes before your flight. So it'll book that maybe Ella to come pick you up. It might pick up another person or two. While all this is happening, the 2 weeks ago that Alexa booked your airplane ticket, your identity, and you're already going through that pre-screen process. So I think airports are looking at how do we get people through security quicker, so you may not even have to go through because they already have been screening and they know you. So things are changing.
So 10 years from now, do you think that if I look out in the streets of Kelowna, there's going to be autonomous vehicles moving around?
I mean, we'd love to see Ella in Kelowna, absolutely.
That's what you envision?
Yeah.
That's where we're going?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's 10 years, 5 years. I mean, again, there's still a lot of questions for sure, and that regulatory side that needs to be addressed. And I think we have to work with the regulators, but I mean, certainly
Could be a
we'll-
lot sooner than 10 years.
It could be a lot sooner, absolutely. Absolutely, it can be.
It's going to be interesting. Thanks for coming in.
You bet.
John
Thank you.
Stepovy of Pacific Western Transportation, and thank you for watching Kelowna Now.